Okay, here we are. We're at the opening main menu of Dragon Age. I'm Hunting 13. You can call me Hunter or Hunting. And I'm here with two good friends of mine, Sassy and Ryan. We
Hey.
Hello.
are going to be doing a semi in depth Dragon Age Veilguard year after review video. And we have some bullet points to talk about. Let me. So, to start off, Dragon Age, the new one, plays a lot more similarly, Veilguard, compared to its sci-fi counterpart Mass Effect than any of the previous iterations of Dragon Age. It is not even close to the old playstyles of Dragon Age, and that's not a bad thing. It's just a change. I know people will have varying opinions about it, but I personally liked the increased speed in combat, but I missed certain things that we'll get into later. What are you guys' thoughts on it? You cut out.
Oh, well, shit. Sassy, you have played it, or you have played previous titles. I have not.
Oh, that's fair. But
Oh.
you have
Um,
played Mass Effect.
I have played Mass Effect. However, I'm pretty darn sure Mass Effect is drastically different than is Mass Effect not completely different than
It is and it
the play
isn't.
style of.
It's the play style is what the main difference is, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Veilguard is probably the most closest to Mass Effect gameplay.
Yeah.
But the previous Dragon Ages were more of a pause,
Tactician.
turn-based tactician.
Yeah, like they could be real time, but you could pause, do tactical stuff with your people. You had access to more abilities to use all at once. You didn't have to swap out only using like what, four or five?
It's 3 plus your ultimate.
So four total. So to go over quickly, experience. I have played Mass Effect 2, 3, and Andromeda all the way through. Well, actually, Andromeda almost all the way through, just shy of completing it. And I've played Origins all the way through, and half or a little over half of Inquisition, and then I've completed Dragon Age Veilguard a couple times. Ryan has played all the Mass Effect games through the new Legendary Edition, and then Andromeda, but as he stated earlier, no prior Dragon Age experience whatsoever. Veilguard is his first one. And Sassy has played all of the Mass Effect and Dragon Age games. She is the expert.
Hi.
Now,
I mean, okay. Overall, I would totally agree with the hate that Veilguard has gotten, but it's definitely better than Inquisition when it first came out. That's all I'll say on that.
we will get into that hate in a moment. Is the hate linked to a specific area of the game or overall?
People were just it's just the overall, like people were mad at Veilguard, but Inquisition took a little bit longer to make and was broken. We had to wait like 6 months for them to fix it.
Wow, that's bad.
Yeah.
EA has kind of dropped the ball in recent years, I'll say. But we're not here to talk about EA specifically. We're here to talk about Veilguard. Now, I will say
Want us to talk about EA.
one of the big issues for Veilguard was optimization for PC. It was not optimized. And weirdly, I have one of, if not the most powerfully built PCs of our friend group, and I was the one who had the most issues. It wasn't about strength of PC. It was apparently about what parts you had and how they liked to play with the code of the game. one of the biggest things was a VRAM issue in my graphics. Turns out I needed to go in and set a specific amount of video RAM availability, cache size in my NVIDIA settings. And once I did that, it made it work, but it was still not optimized, so it would still crash once in a while just from trying to boot up the game. Not even trying to, like, just get to the title screen. Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that was bad.
So, another thing that we're going to talk about is the intro cutscene after hitting new game. And so we're actually going to do that real quick. We're going to hit new game, and I need to change something. We are not muting sound when minimized. Thank you. Okay, here we go. So we're going to listen to the cutscene, and then we're going to talk about it.
Let me make sure that your sound is on.
Oh no, I already
Okay.
hit it. Okay.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh.
Oh.
It was not disconnected and reconnected. So here's a thing to talk about. Another issue. I did not have a controller connected. I don't know why it's saying this. We're just going to hit spacebar and move on.
Him as Solus. Smart, thoughtful, loved to hear himself talk. But long ago, he had a different name. The Dreadwolf. Ancient elven god of lies, or heroic rebel against tyranny, depending on which story you believe. In his desperate fight against the corrupt elven gods, Solus imprisoned them, creating a veil that split our world from the raw magic of the Fade. He had won. But the veil cost the elves everything. Their magic, their freedom, even their immortality. Now, Solus wants to tear down that veil and undo the damage he caused, even if that means our world has to burn. Somebody's gotta stop him. And that's where you come in.
I do think that out of the previous games that I've played so far, that is the most visually pleasing, for sure, of the introductions. Not the Mass Effect ones, Dragon Age only.
Oh, all of them.
Oh, fair. Okay.
Yeah, all
yeah.
of them have had really good intro sequences to kind of give you the setting of the story, get you into the mindset of what you're getting into. And that's one good thing I will give to Dragon Age. No matter what game you're playing in, they are letting you know this is the setting.
I will say, though, we did talk about this while trying to set up the Word document bullet points. While it does do an intro cutscene that's beautiful, it doesn't explain enough. It's meant to be a clean slate enough. Like the previous games, your choices mattered and carried over in a game save state into the new game, and it would affect the new game. But in this one, they kind of went to where, okay, you don't have to have played the previous games. We're going to let you create the Inquisitor, because Inquisition is going to have the most effect on this one, and make decisions for what happens there, but they don't tell you what's important. They just give you a bunch of decisions to arbitrarily select.
Yeah, it does feel like
A little more
if you've never
info
played
should be given.
Inquisition and you played this game and you're like, we're tracking Solus. Who the fuck is Solus? Why are we trying to stop a ritual? What ritual? Why? What?
And therein lies the it doesn't give enough information. It throws you into the deep end. For somebody who's played the games, you're like, ah, cool, got it. Haven't played the games, you might be sitting there asking a lot of questions that there are answers to, but you either have to have played the previous games or watched a video. Googled
Yeah, like me.
info.
Zero clue. Zero
Yeah.
clue. I had no idea who this was, why I was supposed to feel any sort of way about him. And I don't think that, I don't know. I don't think that the blank slate thing is something you can just decide to do because you want to.
Well, if you're going to do the blank slate, you need it to actually be a blank slate, not you can carry over your choices by telling us what choices you made, but we won't tell you what they mean or what they do. That's not a blank slate. That is a semi-blank slate where you get choices with no understanding of why they might be important. And some of them aren't.
Well, here we go. Here's a good example, okay? Ryan and I were playing and finishing the game around the same time, okay? Because you were streaming it.
Yes, I was slower because I was streaming it once or twice a week.
So, I was freaking out about we're still hunting Solus, and there's Varric, and oh my gosh, we're getting to actually have Harding in the party. And then later on, I'm freaking out about Isabella and all these other different lores and stuff. And Ryan's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not enough info.
Yeah, I was like, I don't understand. Now, I don't know.
I do want to talk about the character creator real quick. So it's got some really neat things. I will say they did the Quinari dirty.
They did, but thank you for making the dwarf's hands actually a reasonable scale.
Yeah, especially since they work with
guys...
tools so much, crafting with hammers and whatnot. Go on.
Oh, sorry. When these guys started telling me to look up like previous Quinari, I was like, damn. Like, why?
They made...
It's not like they look bad, but they were like, hey, we need
generally... They went, Mom, I want a tiefling. And EA went, we have tiefling at home. Tiefling at home.
Yep.
The Quinari with the... it's so just... No. They just made them progressively worse as the games went on.
I mean, I know in Origins we didn't have Quinari with horns, and it's only because, well, they didn't have the mechanics to have horns with helmets. So they just didn't have horns. But then in 2, we got to see the Quinari, and they look dope. And then in 3, we got Quinari, but the main one was Iron Bull, and Iron Bull looked sick because he was like this Quinari mercenary with like this pirate theme going on. It was really cool. I liked it a lot.
I'm cycling the Quinari so that people can see a bunch of different variations. And I just want you all to know, if you think the hair looks bad, it does. The hair never looks good. They gave them no good hairstyles. What?
Hang on. They look like a very... Have either of you ever played or seen WoW?
I have, a very long time ago, dipped my toe in WoW.
Do you remember the Draenei, the people with the goat legs?
No, because when I dipped my toe in, it was during the Burning Crusade expansion right before Wrath of the Lich King, and I played for 2 months.
The guys can have horns too, but look, it's like they took them. Look at my.
I'm looking at your screen. Oh, but they have better hair. Let me try and get this on recording real quick.
It looks like they just took this as a template.
Time out. Okay, so there's the screen. Wait, I'm gonna edit. So there's the screen share. Yeah, it does look like they kind of use them as a template, but again, why can't their hair get to their forehead?
But what I'm saying is like WoW's graphics isn't like groundbreaking, and this is supposed to be groundbreaking because like the hair physics. but it looks like Play-Doh compared to the elves and the humans and the dwarves. If you put these two side by side, why'd they do the Qunari this bad?
I know. It does. It just... They did them dirty. We're done there. Okay, moving on.
I just had that thought because I was like, holy shit, because like one of the little cycles, they kind of looked like them really closely. I was
Yeah.
like, hang on a minute.
Now, the game has a lot of interesting dialogue interactions if you pick elf. Because you're hunting an elf god and the elven god pantheon.
I will say though, playing elf, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you played a Veilguard, so you got some special interactions when you first mailed.
You mean
Or the
Shadow
Veil Jumpers.
Dragon?
No, the Veil Jumpers.
I played Shadow Dragon for my playthrough on stream.
I thought you played Veil Jumpers.
No, I played Shadow Dragon.
Somebody played a Veil Jumper.
Might have been Ryan.
Anyways, they
I
had special
dated a Veil
things-
Jumper.
Okay. They had more interesting things to talk about with the Veil Jumpers about the gods than the actual elves. Like, you were talking to other elves, like you had no idea about your own freaking history.
Yeah, it was
and that is a
dumb.
thing in Dragon Age. Like, elves they are not allowed to forget their fucking history. I'm just saying.
Yeah. One thing that makes me angry and upset, in all the previous games, I understand that it's canonical of dwarves can't use magic. But Harding unlocks magic from touching the dagger. Spoilers. Sorry, I should have said spoilers. I'll cut that part and put spoilers before it. Spoilers! I know that the dwarves are supposed to not be able to wield magic. But they gave Harding magic for touching the dagger. Why couldn't they give the player a mage dwarf after touching the dagger? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, because it wasn't specifically... Well, actually, no, you're right. That would be all dwarves.
Yeah,
If any dwarf touched it, because that's their...
exactly.
that's where they came from.
Exactly. So it does
So,
not
yeah, no,
make
you're
sense. Like, you're so limited on your class. Only two options, rogue or warrior. And there's only 3. That is a whole third of the classes. That I know there's only one of them, but still, that's a big loss in my opinion. Now, I'm going to go into the appearance, so we can talk about some of my favorite things, like the fact that they have identity pronouns for non-binaries and everything like that. They only have 3, but it's still better than a lot of games have been in the past. And they allow you to select non-binary. And whatever... well, they only have 2 genders and then non-binary. So maybe it's still a bit limited, but it's a step in the right direction, is what I'm trying to say. And then whenever you're creating a character, you go to customize, and you get a starting preset that you can select from. That's nice. They all look great. And then you get to head shape. And this area, I understand why some people would love it. I hate it. This is one of my least favorite things because there are 30 heads for the elf. I don't know about the other races, but there are 30 head shapes for the elf. And you move this dot and this triangle to balance between them to try and like shift which features are more prominent from which head. And the reason this bothers me is that years before this released, there was Fallout 4, where you could actually sculpt, and there's The Sims. They own The Sims, where you can actually sculpt the face. You can sculpt the nose, the bridge, forehead, eyebrows, cheekbones, jawline, mouth. You can sculpt those individual parts and whatnot. And I know you kind of can here with after you do this thing with sliders, but the sliders play off of whatever baseline you create here in the triangle. And so the sliders carry less of an impact than I wish they did. And for some odd reason, I don't know if it's still a thing, yeah, there are some complexions that make them look like they have a 5 o'clock shadow around, like, their mouth and jawline. Don't know why that would be. What are y'all's thoughts?
They could have done better with the skin tones and complexions, and I only say that is because some of the skin tones and the complexions kind of make your face look a whole lot different than your body skin
Oh,
color.
yes. It has a very weird cutoff. It's abrupt.
And I know not everybody's like body, neck, and face like all match, but they're close. They're in the same family.
They at least have the same undertone. And then
area
difference in skin exposure to the sun for tanning and whatnot is what changes that usually. But yeah, so it has its ups and it has its downs. It's sadly, in my opinion, more limiting than older models that were available for them to try and make facial construction for players.
In my opinion, it's like, because of when this game came out,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me that the creation is as limited as it is because of the sheer amount of games that have been made fairly recently that have these ridiculous creators.
Yeah.
So
it's been a little over
they
a year and a half since it released.
They definitely could have made
Yeah.
it a little more.
I mean, with the fact that they want you to be able to customize your character as much as they do, and they know with their coding, it is really, really difficult to make mods to change any of this. So what ends up happening is people don't make mods to make the character customization easier. They make their own character and then make a mod packet that is just downloading that character and being able to use them instead of having to put the work in yourself. Because it's a little jank. It's a little bit janky, a little bit difficult to wield, and get the result that you want out of it. That being said, they still offer some interesting things. Now, I will let everyone know I'm not clicking on undergarments because this game tried to claim that it was going to have the same level of adult content as Baldur's Gate 3.
Liar.
And they lied. The most you would see is a character topless, and the longest you'll see it is during a long character creation if you decide to pick the topless undergarments.
And then you get it for 2 minutes at the very end of the game.
I wouldn't even say 2 minutes. That's generous. Like a minute and a half.
But like when you say you get it is
It's
like
just you.
You barely. Yeah. It's just you topless, and like you don't even get a straight-on view. Most of it's covered. You might see a nipple.
At least Baldur's Gate 3 nipples were 3D.
Yeah, they weren't painted on. It has its issues. It has its issues in the character creator.
And the thing is, it's like a game does not have to have spicy content.
It doesn't,
Like,
but don't lie about it.
But you can't say that it's gonna be spicy, everybody. It's like, yeah, they smooch twice and then they
Baldur's Gate 3
run the
let us
suicide
sleep with a
mission.
bear.
Yeah, it's
And this game was like, you get a kiss and to be topless. That is our spicy content. That was meant to be a silly voice. Anyways.
Also, okay, listen. All right. I know games have gotten a lot of hate about why you always make girls and stuff have big, big boobies and butts. Okay, listen. As somebody who can, I sometimes like to appreciate my people who I'm looking at constantly to have a nice figure where I look at their nice booty. Okay, it's my game. I paid for it. Okay, this is what, $70?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one was like $70, I think, on release. And this is maximizing an elf's boobs and butt. This is maximized.
That doesn't get better depending on who you pick.
It is the
Okay.
same across all of the races, yes.
I like even for the guys. Okay, at least you can customize guys' bulge size.
And that one is actually prominent.
yeah, so like that's nice.
I mean, you can
know,
also
guys-
customize a female presenting bulge size, too.
Yes, like that's nice. Okay, but like, what if guys wanted to have a big badonk too, and
Yeah.
the girls, you know, like
It is also, the elf ears are so difficult to do anything with these sliders that I have actually just given up hope. I just let them be whatever they are.
they have
It's
always
not-
been difficult.
It's not an
To be
amazing
honest.
thing. Like, it is more this is more easily used than, say, Elden Ring character creator customization. And it might have more influence and options than Baldur's Gate 3's to a degree, if you don't include mods. But they had... this game is more focused on looking at your character, cutscenes, storytelling, than Elden Ring is. So of course it needs to be easier. And it is a bit more cinematic than I would say Baldur's Gate is. It's when it tells its story, it's almost like it's doing it from a movie style versus a well-drawn rendering for a simple cutscene. Like, Baldur's Gate 3's cutscenes are still absolutely amazing, don't get me wrong.
But
I
they
just-
are like in game. You literally could like, you know, it's
You don't get as many
Yeah.
close-ups of your character
yeah.
as often.
Unless you're Dirge.
Well, then you get a lot, yes. So, when comparing it to games that release not too long before it, it has its reasons for being more versatile with the customization than those, and easily used. But again, Fallout 4 and The Sims have been around for far longer than any of these. Why? Why is it this difficult to use? I do see where I put in the notes, nipples are 2D, motherfucker, from Sassy.
I still have a problem with the nipples, man. Like, come on, we're this far.
Oh,
into graphics
the way
and
that
we
it was
can't do
typed,
nipples?
the way that it was typed into the Google Doc is, where is Pengus? We were promised Baldur's Gate 3 level of nudity, and for those playing without censors, it is extremely lacking in comparison.
because you can have a guy in Baldur's Gate with a vagina, with a ween with hair, ween without hair, ween uncircumcised.
Yeah.
You had options to customize your peen.
So
And you actually got to see it.
another one is, we are definitely lacking in the hair options department.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, honestly, half of
Half of the hairs are
the
not
hairs,
usable.
I'm just like, oh my lord.
Hairs, eyebrows.
Like, this one looks
beards.
nice.
Oh, and then also speaking
why?
of hair, wasn't there a actual thing where, hey, if your game has problems doing this with the hair and it makes the hair look like absolute garbage, you had to like turn off a setting
They did some
to
amazing
make the hair
things.
look reasonable?
Yeah, they did some amazing things with, and it looks like there's a lot of hairstyles, because there's 88 listed here, but most of them either don't look good, or don't like you just can't use it for one reason or another. Like why? Unless you're trying to create a homeless person who shaved their head except for the sides. I don't know. I just don't see somebody like, what is this supposed to be? High fantasy? Why is this the choice for high fantasy? To whoever likes this hairstyle, good on you. I'm sorry, not meaning to insult. I don't. And then that's not to say anything for potential cultural appropriation. And I won't delve any deeper into that other than there's the potential for it.
I mean, to be fair, go to one of the go to 88.
Okay.
All
It
right?
looks good.
The curls look great. Now go to let's go 83 for the dreads. Now go that looks pretty fucking close. 4 games they did the textures
Yeah.
for hairs very well. Like 74. Like look at that. That's amazing.
They did an amazing job with the different textures, styles, curls, all of it.
But they just didn't offer like a lot of good styles.
There were some that we were confused about. Like, I'm trying to find one of them right now. Why would you only half dread? Why? Is this actually like a style? I don't know. It looks like you got out of bed in a hurry and didn't get to finish styling your hair for the day.
Yeah, like you just...
Now, if this is an actual style, I do not mean to insult anybody. None of us do. We just don't understand it. The choice.
Yeah.
But, again. And then this, amazing. Like, it's all amazing. And they worked really hard to make the hair have these kind of physics. I give them props. Why couldn't they work this hard on making it easier to, like, shape the face? Come on. So, we've been on Character Creator for a while now. The makeup is amazing in this game. No further comment. Tattoos are alright, but they leave some more to be desired. Like, there are some...
great.
There are some tattoos that are for specific, group affiliation and stuff. The scars are not great. They're not. But there are tattoos that are like for certain group affiliation, like Shadow Dragons, obvious, I think is pretty obvious here. But there are some that are less obvious. And there are some that the face has one for it, but the body doesn't. And there are some where the body has one for it and the face doesn't, so you can't match. And then there are top surgery scars. If you are doing top surgery scars on what is a masculine presenting character for removing breasts, you can see them in certain cutscenes without your shirt on. But if it's the reverse, the scars are completely hidden. And I don't know if that makes it better or not, because then it's harder to tell that they were there, and I don't know if that's the point. So I don't really know how to comment on that one, other than this is how it looks from having played the game. Anybody can draw their own conclusions for that. I'm not going to tell you what to think there. It is nice that they include the option, though. That is what I will say.
I would like to say, though, which I assume we'll get to this stuff eventually, but in games, there is nothing wrong with having the option to be trans. But it's what you do with the trans character that matters.
Mm-hmm. Now,
so having the actual option, honestly, I think is great. And people's arguments that, oh, that wouldn't be magic. There's magic. There's magic. You can do whatever you want. There's magic. So
I will say one thing for the character creator, the eyes. I do like the way you can customize your eye color.
the
The
eyes
only
get
thing
I don't
eyes,
remember creating this character.
is a little complicated, like the elf ears. Like, if you don't really know what you're doing, it's going to take you a minute to make a custom color, unless you go online and you look up, like, some tutorials on YouTube to how to get there.
Yeah.
So, this right here, originally, there was not a import character thing. They've added one. It pre-selects everything for you, including class, all the way to just being able to go, yep, I'm finished, I'm done. So I am happy that they added that. It's nice to be able to have a character preset that you like using and wanting to play through with just looking the same, not having to recraft it or make slight adjustments, change the class. That's lovely. I'm glad they added that. So now I would like to, I think it's time we talked about gameplay.
Yes.
We all three have played all of the classes in the game. There are 3 classes. We've not played every subclass. Good thing, though, good news. The subclasses, or the classes, are not majorly affected by the subclasses. Because the subclass has only, like, a few things, passives, a ability, and an ultimate that it gives you. Unlike the older games, where it would completely overhaul your class's playstyle. If you were a mage that went for arcane warrior, then you could finally have heavy armor, wield a sword. You used your magic to imbue your body with the ability to wield these things that normally required strength. Stuff like that. It was a complete overhaul and gave you a lot of extra abilities. Because this one is a more action RPG than tactician RPG with real-time and paused time, it does severely limit how much of an effect a subclass can have on a class overall. The gameplay feels really smooth, very fun to play. Dodges feel great, parries feel great. I just kind of wish that we had more abilities to access than how many we can equip at one time. That's my only complaint about it. My favorite class, by far, is Mage, with the favorite being the Space Mage. I don't remember what they are. I'll get out of this.
Is it Evoker?
So during character creation, it's it's Evoker. During character creation, you can look at the specializations. They make them look really cool in the little tutorial video for selecting a class. The Death Caller is not as fun as it looks. It doesn't do as much damage as you would think, and it's easy to get hit whenever enemies are attacking back while you're in that elevated state. Evoker's my favorite. Ryan, which class and subclass were your favorite again?
I think out of all of what I played, the what is the warrior or is that, I don't even remember what they're called at this point. It's the what's the big melee class called?
I think you're talking about the warrior.
Yeah, okay. So
Reaper.
warrior, Reaper. Reaper was my all-time favorite because you literally could, with shield tosses, do 9,999 damage cap on enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved it. You could not die because you would constantly regen health. Yeah, that one was my absolute favorite. But I also played the... I did Evoker. I also did this... Is it Spellblade?
Spellblade. Yeah.
Which, that was fun. I liked Spellblade, too. See, the thing is, and this is... I don't think this is as common of a problem with games in general, because I'm going to say something and it's going to sound kind of like, oh, well, yeah, of course it feels like that. But to me, in this game, it felt like I wasn't I wasn't having fun playing the class, like any of the classes, until I was like at least halfway through the game.
Yeah, I do have typed down
to
as a
me,
bullet
they
point.
just, yeah, they
Uh,
just felt bad and underpowered and hard to play. But then you started getting like higher level equipment that did
That's what I
extra
had
stuff.
typed down. Ryan feels
Yeah.
like, for the most part, until you get to a certain point with your equipment, in D&D terms, you can do fun things at level 5, but in comparison for Dragon Age Veilguard, you don't feel like you start doing fun things until the D&D equivalent of level 15, no matter the specialization.
So it's like I did have a lot of fun playing all of the classes I did, and I tried out at least one subclass from or specialization from
From
each
each,
class.
yeah.
So like I did have fun with all of them, but it took me a while, and I don't really know if that's a get good thing, because I haven't really felt that way about games in general.
One
Like
thing
when
that I
I
loved about this game was that it did let you heavily customize and it wasn't the first one, but it was one of the earlier ones that let you heavily customize. Okay, well, I want enemies to be really hard to kill, but I don't want them to be really hard to block, dodge, or parry.
mhm.
A unique customization experience other than just easy, medium, hard, super hard. And like there are presets that are basically what I just explained, but you can also do a custom version of that. It is sad that in this one, unlike previous iterations of Dragon Age specifically, you can only pick one specialization. I hate that. And in the older ones, the specializations did more. You could pick 2, maybe 3. And we weren't limited so much by equipment as we were by level and abilities. In this one, yeah, the abilities are fun and whatnot, but they don't really get their strength until you get equipment to help power them up, like you were saying. Sassy, would you agree with that?
Yeah. Th- this this game definitely makes combat look pretty.
Yes.
If that makes sense to everybody. The combat looks very pretty. But when it comes to how free it allows you to customize your build, the other games have done it better. Because even
Yes.
if you couldn't like make a specific class like for Origins, for Inquisition, you can make something close to it, or even for Dragon Age 2. But to me, personally, even with the limited of the abilities and the ultimates, I will say this is probably my favorite time for rogues. Minus Saboteur.
Saboteur
don't-
sucked.
I don't understand Saboteur. If you like Saboteur,
Good for
I'm
you, but
thankful
yeah.
that you had fun with it.
you found something.
Because somebody at least enjoyed the mechanic that was added. So somebody in the team worked on.
Yeah.
Okay. But I didn't like it. But everything else, Duelist and Veil Ranger, both super fun.
Another thing.
Specialization.
So we have hit 45 minutes, which is longer than I was hoping we would go, but I think it's fine. It can maybe be trimmed down a bit, and it's an in-depth review, not just a simple, quick gloss over. And we are talking about gameplay mechanics now. I'm not showing gameplay because it'd be a lot of work to get to a good point where it's like, oh, there are no spoilers here, but I'm far enough in that I can display these things. I don't want to do that. Huh?
I wasn't done.
I'm sorry, keep going.
I don't remember what I was gonna say now.
You said Veil Ranger and Duelist, really fun. And that this is the best time for rogues.
Oh, and warriors. Mages kind of got a little
Put on the back burner.
I think 2 for mages was the peak.
I've never played 2, so I can't comment.
I liked 2's mages better than Inquisition. And I loved Origins options, but they gave you too many options. It is the game that has the most options for you to do.
You mean subclasses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I meant.
It's so hard for me to compare mages from this game to previous ones that I've played because the whole gameplay style is so completely different that all of them feel better, but there are negatives. So, like, the positives, more visually exciting gameplay, faster paced, cooler abilities and visuals for the most part, despite a few. It feels more intuitive. They added in primers and detonators from Mass Effect. It feels more active and immediate for the combat. But negatives are like she was listening. You can no longer freeze combat or have a bird's eye view to strategize. There's a huge limit on number of specializations per class and number that you can have at once. A huge limit on how powerful you are based on equipment more than abilities. And a huge limit based on how many abilities you can even have equipped. It's mostly the passives and the specializations passives that do anything, but they don't make it feel like the class gets a complete overhaul. It just feels better, if that makes sense.
Again, don't have experience with other games, so I
Yeah.
can't be. Well, I mean, but from what I've seen, I feel like I would just with the general combat. I'm a more quick, fast-paced kind of stuff. So I feel like I would have liked the combat a little bit more than previous games, just based on what I've seen. But
Yeah.
I can't truly say that
Ryan?
because I haven't played it. What?
I have some sad news for you. Veilguard is probably the most action-packed combat of the Dragon Age franchise. Everything else is walking simulator
And then
and talking to people.
yeah. So for mage, they have good range, close quarters. They're decent at both, kind of like a jack of all trades. Good AoE and crowd control. And they finally have something other than a staff to cast magic with.
Yeah, because in every single Dragon Age game, to any Dragon Age fans out there, your mage always talks smack about, well, I don't need a staff to use magic. But, brother...
You can't use magic without a staff!
I do need this staff, because they did not incorporate that.
Except for when you get a specialization that is like an arcane warrior where you use magic to use a sword and whatnot.
That's
and then you
only in Origins.
Well then, yes. Origins is the only one other than this one where they don't need a staff to cast magic. Another really weird thing that bothered me, the MC has to have party members handle arcane glyphs even if they are a mage themselves. It's like, yeah, no, I'm down with the magic, but I don't know how to use this.
Yeah.
What? I'm sad that they took away lockpicking. I liked that.
I mean, I'm okay without it.
I
As
think
somebody who's played every single one of the Dragon Age games,
Well, I
didn't
I
necessarily
just like lockpicking as a mechanic. I like it in every game. It wasn't the most
play the old one.
it wasn't the most involved thing. It wasn't like Skyrim lockpicking or anything like that, you know, but I did like lockpicking. I liked being able to find things that's like, you can't unlock this until later once you get higher level lockpicking. It was a little bit frustrating, but it was also like, okay, I'll level up my rogue and bring them with me, kind of thing.
Let me just put it like this. In 2, even if you were a rogue, you could still not lockpick shit sometimes. Basically meaning that you weren't at a certain stat to be able to get it.
Right.
So, let's say you're playing a mage, right? And you have Varric, because Varric was in the second game. And he's a rogue. So you're like, I'm going to have Varric so he can lockpick for me. And then he can't either because his fucking lockpicking is lower than your base lockpicking. Why are you there, brother?
Fair. I would like to really quick talk about the factions. I feel like we've gone over as much as we need to for the classes. Ryan did a long time ago, I put this down as a note, say that for Rogue, it felt like, for him specifically, it took longer to get his build up and running, so he had
it took
fun with
so
them
much longer.
for the least amount of time, because it took longer to get into that build.
Yeah, if you
And
have
it,
never
that might have.
played Rogue-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, if you never played a Dragon Age Rogue, it would have been harder
So,
because
Um.
I knew.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same way with, like, all of them, like all of the specializations, or if it's just because, like, 2 of the specializations required you need to constantly parry all the time and be perfect all the time. And it's like, okay, I'm not doing either of those. I'm not doing that. I can't do that. And so I didn't, yeah, I just didn't like the stuff for Rogue as much, just because they were like, hey, you because you're Rogue, it's all about being perfect all the time. And if you stop being perfect, well, there you go. That's it. You lose all your stuff.
I didn't play Rogue
So.
enough to get that far. Like, I got, I think, a subclass unlocked, but I never felt like the having to be perfect, but I didn't get as far into it as you. I didn't complete a game playthrough on Rogue. So, I do kind of want to rapid fire the factions, because we all know that they really don't mean anything. All of them have this first thing: quickly gain reputation with whatever faction you choose. So that is a non-starter for what faction to pick. It doesn't affect the choice, because you'll eventually max out all of them if you play through the game fully. Like, it's so easy. The increased damage, it depends on what it's against as to whether it's nice or not. So, like, that is not the most important thing, but a semi-important thing. The most important thing is the last thing you get. Like, for Grey Wardens, Vigilant Training, base defense and health are slightly increased. Nice for somebody who's just starting out, wants to be able to take a hit a little easier, and whatnot. Now, that doesn't mean that you'll be, like, super tanky compared to the others. It's a minor bump. But, yeah. I feel like Grey Warden is one of the lowest on the tier list for these. I don't know where you two would rank it.
Like, as far
As far as the
ranking it as
abilities
far as-
being useful.
Oh, okay. Well, isn't that Grey Wardens? Sorry. No, I don't think that they are as useful.
The Darkspawn you do
Really?
fight quite a bit, but there are other things that I think you fight a little more. Even though, you know, the way the story goes, Darkspawn are important, as always. It's a Dragon Age game. The Vigilant Training just isn't enough to make up for the lack in the other areas. Sassy? Are you there?
Sorry, I just sneezed and fucking all over my desk. Had to get tissue.
Oh, you're good. We were talking about the factions and trying to do like a quick 1-2 go through it real, like say good or bad, like
Oh, okay.
upper tier,
Alright.
lower tier, and we
Wait,
already
where-
talked about Grey Warden. Ryan and I
Okay, it
both
wasn't
said
needed this game.
yeah, lower tier. It's not the least useful, but it's close.
We've had
Which one would be
Grey
the most
Wardens
used?
mentioned and all that.
How about we decide the least and most useful after we talk about them, in our own opinions.
Okay.
Veil Jumpers, I don't remember fighting the Fade touched all that much, and deal slightly increased critical and weak point damage. Now that can be useful, but it's very situationally useful. It's
Okay,
specific builds useful.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't notice any other little shits. Okay. So let's just talk about how they are for the story. Because if I'm being honest, there's only 1/3 thing you can actually tell, because the dealing increased damage you can't tell.
No, that's
I've-
so I would some of them you do fight a specific enemy type more than others in the game. So they deal increased damage. I know you can't really tell, but as a like secondary factor, not primary, it is somewhat useful. It's just barely. It's a smidge.
What about the?
We're talking about-
Have we been going over the other ability, like the
The third one,
like
yes.
this one? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
we've been talking about the third one. I was
Okay.
wanting to primarily, if you want to focus on the story as well and add that in, we can. I was mainly wanting to focus on min-maxing like the usefulness of the third ability, the deal slightly increased critical and weak point damage kind of thing.
Eh.
I would say this
Again,
one's
it's
still
not even
lower tier because this is very situational. It's build
Resistant quick
specific.
fire.
It's build specific. You have to be building for critical and weak point damage for it to be useful.
All of them do critical and weak point damage.
I mean, building for it to happen more often.
Most of the subclasses and specializations that you can do build with critical or weak point damage.
No, I know, but you can also build different. Like, we'll get to other things later.
Mhm.
Venatori are very prominent, but again, like Sassy said, the damage boost is barely, if at all, noticeable.
And you don't really notice your class specific resources generating any faster. It's the same.
It is lower tier. Now, story-wise, it's one of the more interesting ones because the city of the Shadow Dragons is Minrathous, and it's one of the more important locations. But that's about it. And then we get to the Lords of Fortune. I
Makes me
think
sad.
none of us liked this one.
Nope.
It just perform takedown on enemies with slightly less effort just means that they have to be slightly less damaged before you can do it. It doesn't help. It's not
Here's
useful.
the problem. Most of the time, I killed them too fast before I built up their takedown meter, so
Yep.
it didn't
Yeah.
really matter.
Yep. It might be useful in the hardest difficulty, where they have a lot more health, and you might be able to have enough health to stagger them to perform that takedown, but otherwise, no. And even then, it's spotty. Now, the Morn Watch is...
Have cool interactions in the story.
They do, and I do think that their acute afflictions is one of the more useful ones. I would place them in the upper tier, like one of the top 3.
Yeah, but you could also just enchant your shit to be able to do what that does.
No, I know, but if you enchant your shit to do what this does, and have this, it just stacks on stacks, you know?
Yeah, but it also depends on if you're doing a build that relies on stacking.
No, I know, but so it's another situational one. It's just one that is easier to do.
I personally
More consistent. Go on.
would have I would have picked that every time if I didn't beforehand say, for each new character, I am picking a different background, because
Yeah.
that is my absolute all-time favorite
If you
thing. I consider it the most useful.
if you are playing a Reaper warrior, it is the most useful thing you can pick at the beginning, because the applying afflictions is just constant. You build for that. It is a build-based one, though. It's just that applying afflictions is easier than getting critical strike chance up to 100% or hitting weak points consistently, which is why I would say this one's higher ranked than Veil Jumper. And then there's another disappointing one that I think we all thought would be
The
cooler.
potions.
It is the potions from the Antivan
Okay.
Crows.
Before we even get into the abilities, okay?
Okay.
I just want you to know, just like the Grey Wardens, okay, the Antivan Crows is brought up pretty often. Okay, they're pretty prominent faction in the Dragon Age world.
Yeah.
Alright? And listening up to the stories that they have NPCs telling you, because you don't actually like really meet them. They sound really intimidating, scary,
Yeah.
you know, like all these different things. And then in this game, they look like some flamboyant pussies. Sorry.
I
Not
might have to
sorry.
bleep that. I don't know. I don't know how I'm not monetized on YouTube. Never mind.
I can do whatever I want.
But
Like-
yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing.
It makes me so sad. And then their little thing is a hidden pouch, so they get to hold an extra potion.
I think
Most of Rogue's things, just in general, is poison. Why isn't Antivan Crows, who are assassins, why is their thing not something to do with poison?
or critical strikes are weak points.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Like they got a hidden theirs makes the least sense.
It's like you're saying that Antivan Crows get hit so much they gotta have potions to heal a lot.
It's like they
They're
ran
assassins.
out of ideas. And they went, what if we just give them another healing potion?
They're top class assassins. Like if you know that the Crows are after you for a contract, you know it's over. Basically, there's nowhere for you to hide.
There's only one time that a crow didn't finish a contract, I think, and that's Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, that they always complete a
Always.
contract, and if a crow
Or
doesn't
die
complete-
trying, and then the next one picks it up and still completes it.
Yeah, and if you don't die and you come back, well, you're going to die
Yeah.
because the crows don't accept failures.
Exactly. So we've ranked
Because they say
the.
it right there. The crows are ruthless assassins. Bullshit.
They do not appear as ruthless assassins in this game. So I would say the crows are the one that makes the least sense and are the most disappointing, so I'd rank them the lowest. Right above them is the Grey Wardens. And then probably the Lords of Fortune.
Which is sad because Lords of the Fortune are.
It
it's
would
a
have been.
new-
They had so much potential.
It's a new faction.
Exactly.
It's never been brought up before.
Exactly.
They had so much wiggle room.
That's what I'm
They-
saying, though.
Even shadow dragons, right, are somewhat brought up.
Yeah.
But that's like a
the-
nod to them being a secretive group.
And the Morn Watch, maybe. Again, secretive group, far off land. So then after them would be either Shadow Dragons or Veil Jumpers. I struggle with this one because I think that the increased resource regeneration is slightly more useful. I'm just gonna go Veil Jumpers next, then Shadow Dragons above them, and then at the very top, Morn Watch. Because Shadow Dragons are at least very interesting in the story if you play as one.
Yeah, especially
In
'cause
my opinion, yeah.
it's the first time we're going to this part of the continent. Like, we hear about Minrathous and all these places and how cool they are and beautiful, but we never get to see them. It's the first time we get to see them. And to be fair, they are very pretty. The
Yeah.
landscaping is very pretty in this game. Lighting is kind of iffy in some spots, but overall really pretty.
Yeah. Okay. After the factions. Yeah, select this faction. Okay, these are the playstyles with the customization I was talking about. This is the personal customization. I'm just going to quickly go through it with, like, exploration presets. You can have those changed. The aim assist, aim snap, combat timing, which is the blocking and dodging and parrying. Reactive, balanced, forgiving. Enemy damage goes from standard down to lowest and up to high and highest. Same with health, aggression, resistance is either standard, high, or highest, which is like the resistance to damage types and I think afflictions. And vulnerability, standard, high, highest. And then camera, face, melee, target. And it's really nice being able to customize the preset for people who want certain things to be easier and certain things to be more challenging, you know? It's a good thing to have in a game. I'm gonna give them that this was a good thing to include. That they didn't have to. Moving on from that, we get to the finalize. You can customize your name, your voice a little bit. The voice customization's awful. I'm not lying.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's just bad. I don't want to lie to anybody.
The
I'll
voices have always.
Time to get to
It's
work.
usually people pick the accent voice over the
What's he been
non-accent
saying now?
voice, and the pitches always sound like they just went to
Well, we're not in
auto-tune
trouble.
and just
Yeah.
turned.
They ran it through a synthesizer, or whatever it's called, to try and, like, change it with the same voice actor. And it didn't. You can kind of hear it.
Yeah,
Ain't it, Chief?
it's
ain't
never
it.
too good.
I mean, I like it.
This is where
Except
you get
for-
to past adventures, the Inquisition, blah, 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 blah. They give you nothing. Nothing! Go on, Sassy.
I was like, except for, I think it's Dragon Age 2, you're kind of forced in a voice, but that's only because
Hawk.
it is explaining Hawk's story. Hawk is a specific character in mind that the only thing you can really change is how visually they look. But
Mhm.
other than that, no, he can't change much.
Now, for those of you who might like having some information in this that will help you with your playthrough, if you want to have an interesting option at the end of Dragon Age Inquisition, or Veilguard, I mean, and you haven't played Inquisition and you haven't looked it up yet, pick a woman elf as your Inquisitor and
have them romance
have
Solus.
her romance Solus. That is the most important thing. It's the only thing that matters. So escape. It's here at the customize area. And somewhere in this, where is it? It's not
Go,
here.
keep going.
Is it in the summary?
Oh, no, go back. Back one more.
I thought it was here.
Nope. I think you had to finish and go into summary.
Okay, we'll figure it out. We're testing things, zooming past the continue, summary. Okay, this confirms what they look like.
There it is.
And then you go from here, didn't romance anybody, have them romance Solus. And then it doesn't matter what you do with the Chantry, or the Inquisition, I mean. You can do whatever. It'll just change maybe some dialogue.
And honestly, this ending right here feels like we're sorry. We gave you Solus as a romance option in Inquisition just for him to treat you like absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Here's your happy ending.
I
We
think
should've
you
just
have
given
to
you
choose.
Inquisition.
I think you have to choose Vowed to save Solus from himself.
Yes. You do.
And that will unlock the ability for you to get the interesting ending at the end of the game. And you have to do certain dialogue with Solus, but we're not doing a whole playthrough teaching you that. We're doing it in a what are we calling this? What is this? Review video. I might leave that in because that's funny. My brain just flatlined. So yeah, you do all that, and then you finally get to play the game. I will say we're not going to start up the game. We're staying here in the character customization, but we are going to talk about some overarching issues that we have. So the game, some of it is very well written and very well voice acted. Some of it is not. It's hit or miss, and some of the side storylines are surprisingly better than the main storyline at certain points. But overall, it is a very fun game that I would recommend playing. Now, replayability is not that great.
Nope.
But
Unless
first
you're
time
playing
playthrough, it's pretty good. What were you saying, Sassy?
Unless you're playing a completely different class,
With a different ending in mind, different romance.
different background.
Yeah.
And maybe like, oh, you know,
Oh,
I did quite all right on that difficulty. Let's try to adjust it here. Let's have a little more of a challenge.
yeah. If I may. Or may I segue to another thing that just came to mind? I don't want to
I
interrupt.
wasn't saying anything.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if I was cutting you off. Let's talk about our favorite and least favorite romance options.
Oh boy.
We'll start with Ryan. He has the most to say.
Oh. Emmerich.
Wow, okay.
Is the
I thought you were
What?
just gonna, after I said he has the most to say, I thought you were just gonna go, Emmerich.
Emmerich. So, Emmerich.
Yeah.
He is the best and most developed romance in the game, and is the only one that if you complete his romance line, like his romance timeline thing, whatever you want to call it, gets a actual, like, separate date scene.
Mhm.
And no one else gets it. Everyone else, you get, like, the one big scene at the end, and then the quest things and the normal dialogue, they all have the exact same amount of dialogue stuff and like questing stuff. But then Emmerich, he gets a special little date
Yeah.
that you only get to do with Emmerich. And so not only, like, is he actually like screen time wise the most developed one, he also, I feel, is the one that has the best actual, like, the details of the romance and his, because, you know, each character has a problem that you have to help them with. That's
Yes.
just how these games
Yeah.
work. But I feel like his whole problem that he has, like his mental problem, is so much more interesting and so much more in-depth than other characters.
Okay.
So, like, my favorite romance, and I believe, like, just kind of, you can't even argue that there is a better romance, because his is actually the most developed, just out of all of them.
Okay. And in a concise way, what is your least favorite?
Ugh, God.
I heard what you said, Sassy.
Yeah, Cameron.
It barely came through. I feel like it's a toss-up between Davrin and Lucanus. Because
I mean, Lucanus
Lucanus
is
is
pretty dang
so
who cares,
disappointing. They might be
It is,
tied,
actually.
in my opinion. I haven't romanced everybody, but with how much Ryan talks up
Actually,
Emmerich, I
can I be
actually
honest?
kind of want to play through at some point and romance him. I just am not ready to do another playthrough right now. Go.
I actually need to be honest. Now that I'm starting to think about it, no, Lucanus least for me. Davrin
Okay.
right above.
Yeah, Davrin's second
Because
worst. Okay.
Lucanus is like,
He was played up so much in the environment, in like the trailers and the other things, promotional material.
Yeah.
He was played up so much to be such a disappointment. That's why they're like tied for me, because Mass Effect does certain characters dirty. And if you don't know what I mean, play more Mass Effect games and you'll get it. I'm not going into detail because I don't want to get, like, lit up online.
Yep.
But I think both Sassy and Ryan can agree with me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's sad. Sassy, favorite romance, least favorite.
Favorite romance.
My favorite romance, and I did start play through 2 romance Emmerich, so I haven't done that yet.
Mhm.
But I pretty much romance all but 2 people, and that is Harding
I was doing Harding's
or
romance.
Davrin and Valara, because I kind of started doing a playthrough where I was romancing Harding.
I was
Hmm.
I was gonna do Harding as well, and then the more and more I played, I was like, nope, Nev, or like
It's Nev.
I just totally it was
So,
really bad.
My favorite is Nev. I like
Okay.
Nev's romance. I like it a lot.
yeah.
I'm not I'm not a huge fan of anyone's in-game romance scene. Period. End of story. Emmerich might be the only exception, but I hate the ending romance scene that they did.
Somebody remind me that I have something to complain about linked to the ending romance scene, but so I don't forget. Continue.
But other than that, Nev is another well-written character, because her friendship and her romance feels different. And I hope you both understand what I mean, because they recycled some of the scenes, whether you're a friend or romancing them, and just flavoring it differently.
Yeah.
But Nev's actually feels different, like the atmosphere, the way she treats you, her body language, her tone. It's different, and I loved it way more than I thought I would.
I will say, I think Harding had the potential for hers being on par with Emmerich and Nev's as your 2 favorites. But having gone through most of Harding's romance myself, they ruined it. They ruined it because they wanted to try in something unique and interesting about hers that absolutely just overshadowed and destroyed romancing her, in my opinion.
My least favorite is Lucanus.
Yeah.
And here's why. Okay. 1, all right, his romance takes longer to really solidify than anybody else's. 2, when it feels rushed. Okay. 3, if you don't save his city, his option is locked out. And it doesn't matter if you flirted with him 1 time or multiple times. He tells you off that he doesn't have any time for romance, and he has to focus on his city.
I mean, that's kind of the same for Nev.
And then immediately, he's like, "Oh, how's Nev? Was she okay?"
Oh yeah, I remember now. And Nev, you can not save her city, and you can romance her, right? Like, Lucanus is the only one you can truly get locked out of.
Yeah,
because he's a bitch.
Only one you get truly not locked out of. And even if you don't save Nev City, I watched somebody play that, like what will happen if I did like that. So I didn't have to go through a whole Nev playthrough, and it's even better because it's like you're building up your trust with her
again.
Okay. So
it's more depth.
Again, I think Harding had the potential to be on par with those 2. As much as I hate Lucanus' stuff, and as much as Davrin is just done dirty in one certain type of way by not being given much to work with, I feel like Harding was done more dirty, and I think that makes her my least favorite. Spoiler warning in advance. If you don't want spoilers, skip like 2 minutes ahead, or whatever the timestamp is if I can figure that out. The long and short of it, is that because of her touching the lyrium dagger and her unlocking her magic, she is now basically lyrium embodied. And if you touch her or try to kiss her or anything romantic like that where skin touches skin, you get lyrium sickness. And they ruin her romance with that. Multiple times. Multiple. It sucks.
I would like to let you know that that's not the first time we've had, quote, cured lyrium, and it's never done that to anybody. Nobody's touched it, even if they're not a dwarf, and it gave them lyrium sickness.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I'm saying they ruined her for no reason. So then, yeah, my favorite, probably lands on Balara, the one that I've fully completed. I've started a couple others and I really like them. I just don't feel right in saying that they're my favorite without having fully completed them.
Laura,
But I think Balara's so cute. And I like how she is.
I just picture her as my little sister, and I just want to protect her. I don't know if I could ever romance her, but I feel like her romance is very sweet.
It is.
I do want to say one more thing about Harding. If they really wanted to do that effect, right, on the player, they could have been playing it off as it's just her magic. She has no control. She's the first dwarf to ever have magic.
But they did.
They didn't. They went lyrium sickness.
Yeah. So,
Anyways,
I'll make the timestamp skip to here for me to just say Harding, least favorite for spoiler reasons. Most favorite, Balara, the one that I've actually fully completed. I've gotten really close to completing others, but since I haven't finished them, I don't feel comfortable claiming them as a favorite. Now I want to complain about something that's linked to this. So, if you play through the game, and you choose, say, Balara or Nev as your romance, and you get to a choice where it seems like you're going to sacrifice one of them near the end of the game, and you choose them to do the thing where it could be dangerous, they get taken, and the romance scene that you're supposed to get gets postponed, so you end up missing a scene of romance, and it replaces the scene that you do get with a that should be an end game focused scene that's not about romance with romance, but it's missing parts to it because the other romance didn't happen and because they suffer an affliction after what happens. I'm trying to make it as non-spoiler as possible, but I need people to know you can screw up a romance that's going great by choosing this choice near the end for messing with a magical thing while near the end. And it's only, I think, Balara or Nev that can do it. And one or the other will be taken, whoever you choose to do said action. And it made me so mad that I missed out on a romance scene and an end game scene at the same time because of order of operations and the way that the game's code execute things. It's so dumb. It should have just played them back to back and given me all of them. That is something they need to fix.
I will add this without giving in spoilers. They could have added Emmerich to that choice.
They could have. Yeah.
Later on, if you want to keep your romance, like if you're romancing Balar or Nev, and the other one was Kidnap, Emmerich is kind of your only option for a specific decision.
Yeah.
And it still works. He could still do it. So why couldn't he have done it the first?
Because they put more effort into his, and they didn't want the order of operations to screw his up.
Possible.
That's what it is.
I'm glad they did it because they didn't screw up his romance, but they could have made it an option.
Here's the thing. If they knew that it could screw up a romance, and they removed his choice there to be used as a solution to that problem, so that they didn't screw up his romance because they put more effort into his, that's messed up, and that's bad game design in my opinion. reduces points on the rating scale I'm about to use for how I rate this game. It's not a 10.
Another
yeah.
thing I would like to bring up about the romances that kind of ticked me off, okay, is they broadcasted, they about this game that your party member, you should really think about your romance option because your party members are going to get together. There's only 2 couples, motherfuckers.
Yep. And
yeah.
It never changes.
It never changes.
It never changes.
It's so
if
dumb.
If those people are left open, they will always go for each other. And if there is not that option to go to, they will stay single.
They should have created so-and-so gets with option A if available. If not available, they go for option B. And then you would have had more pairings that would have been more unique and interesting. And it would come across the way that they made it sound. But they just went, if so-and-so is single, then so-and-so goes for them. If they're not single, then so-and-so stays single for the rest of their life. They're sad. I almost said sad and lonely. That's me. But sorry, self-burn. Yeah, it isn't done the way that the promotional material made it out to be. You are correct. Continue.
And another thing, if you're romancing one of the, quote, intended couples, one of the pairing, okay, the person who is supposed to get with them still kind of flirts with them. And they made it to where if you get with somebody, you can't flirt with other people because they're going to get mad at you. So why the fuck is this person still flirting with my partner, but I can't flirt with so-and-so?
Yeah, and then another thing is, like, whenever you're trying to get with them, if you don't progress the romance at the right time, they can be stolen right out from under you, and then you don't get anybody to romance.
Yep, because you took too long.
Yep. And they don't let you know when that point is, really, because it's kind of a little different for each character. But it is tied to their side quest storylines, so just pay attention to that. Overall, that's the gist of the game. We've made it to an hour and 30 minutes almost. This is either going to be just one big VOD upload, or it's going to be edited heavily. But I would like for us to rate the game in some different areas. So let's talk on a scale of 1.
I feel like there's one big thing we didn't talk about, but we don't have to.
Okay, just tell me what it is, and we can decide whether we talk about it or not.
It's Tosh. Just the problem that is Tosh.
I love that they added Tosh and that they tried to make a trans character. I feel like they missed... Yes, non-binary. My apologies. I love that they added a character that was meant to be non-binary. I feel like there were certain areas where they did it right and certain areas where they did it wrong. And I would have to be actively looking at those areas to be able to tell you which was which, in my opinion. But...
May I?
Very, very concisely. Quickly.
So, as easily as I can put it, great to have a non-binary character. Not great to make her an absolute bitch.
Okay, I don't know if I fully agree with that.
That's what she was, because her mom was trying in ways that she knew how to explain what Tosh was. Like, she was like, oh, wait.
She was trying to relate it to things.
There might even be a word for that. There might even be a word for that in our culture. Would this make sense to you? And she goes, no, Mom! You don't understand! I hate you! Like, it's just... They made her unbearable to me. When she interacts with her mom. Because... You're supposed to be like, oh, Mom is closed-minded and, she doesn't get it. But she was trying so hard. Like, they didn't give the mom any credit.
Romance, Tosh, it wasn't the worst. I enjoyed it. But in the words of another content creator, it seems like somebody who knew nothing of what it means, what it is. Like they had no knowledge of what non-binary is. Made Tosh.
Like
Yeah.
they Googled it and looked at Reddit to explain.
Basically, like
And,
they went
yeah.
to Wiki. what is non-binary?
Wiki and Reddit, and they didn't go to good forums. They just used the first thing they found, not the proper research. And, like, that's not a great way. Like, if you're going to try and implement something, put the effort in to do it right, please. I have non-binary friends, and I know some of them, if not all of them, would have been offended by the way that Tosh was written. Now, there are some areas, like I said, where they are written very well, but there are some areas where they're not. Like they're
for her and her mom. That is the problem. That
the
is
lashing
where she
out.
is written poorly.
The lashing out. I think they're trying to go
Yeah.
with the whole Tosh is like a dragon descendant with fire breathing and whatnot, so that makes them hot-headed. Maybe, but it doesn't mean that they're completely illogical and not capable of understanding that their mother is trying to relate and understand. And I think they did that scene and forced it that way to create regret later. And that's not a good way to do it, you know?
Nope.
Don't force a
not.
fight that doesn't really feel right to
Or-
create a sad moment.
That's another thing.
It was
Forced conflict.
it was to cause tension and conflict between them, but also to be like, look, it's the stereotypical the parents not accepting of the child that is not of normal society standards. Like we're over that trope, okay?
Yeah. So, yeah,
And
there's a
also
lot of
another thing,
forced conflict that
forced,
doesn't make
forced.
sense.
So
But we
much forced
can't get
conflict,
into all of
choices
it.
Don't. Oh yeah, it's the main thing is choices. They don't matter in this game like they do in other. Like yes, there are a couple of endings, and there are a couple of characters that can get axed at the very end.
There are like 3 or
as
4
far as-
choices overall that actually matter.
Yeah, but as far as like your interpersonal relationships with these characters and stuff, like it doesn't. There's nothing.
What are you
there's
saying?
no-
No what?
There's one choice that should not have been included into the fucking game.
Okay.
And that is choosing between saving Treviso and Minthrathis.
yeah.
Here's why. Okay? It's the only choice in the game that causes that big of a
Hardening, yeah.
conflict.
It's the only one that causes a character to harden themselves against you and become unavailable to the overall party for a time. It doesn't.
It's the only thing that causes your companion heart. You could be a prick to everyone in the game, and your companions will still
Yeah,
love you. But
You
that
can
one
constantly
decision,
choose the
Yeah.
rough options all the time, and it does nothing.
Except for that one decision. You're
Except for
right.
that.
You're right. And if they
It-
wanted to implement the hardening thing, like I feel like they were trying to emulate Baldur's Gate and the whole your companion can dislike you so much they fucking leave. But
They didn't do it.
they didn't
didn't
do
do it.
that.
It doesn't
Like,
work.
the first time playing it, I was like, "Oh, this is like a tutorial, kind of like
Yeah.
getting you to understand this is what hardening
They
is."
actually literally
never
had a
happened.
tutorial, but it only happens in the one choice. It's so dumb. And again, don't implement something if you're only going to half-ass it.
It was
So,
so unnecessary.
um,
Anyway,
I would like for us to rate a couple things on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's start with overall story. Main story.
Man. For me, well, like there's some things I like about it, and then
There's some things you don't. That's fine.
yeah,
Where does that make you land on a scale of 1 to 10, though? 10
For
being the
me
best,
personally,
1 being the
I'd
worst.
probably, for the main actual overall story, none of the side stuff, none of the character stuff,
Uh-huh.
I'd probably say maybe like 6 or 6.5.
Okay. Let's go with solid numbers, so we'll go with 6.
Oh. Okay, well then I'll make it 7 instead.
Well, then that means it was a 7 all along. You just needed to be forced.
Oh.
No. Sassy, where would you rate it?
Sassy, quickly speak.
I was originally going to give it a 6, possible 5. But I'm going to give it a 7 instead, and here's why.
Okay.
While I wasn't the happiest with the main story, it did complete Inquisition's story as it was left off in a cliffhanger of what we were gonna do with Solus. Well, we finally
Right.
got that ending, but
Yes.
other than that, it was lackluster.
It
I
brought
could've done with
closure. Okay.
And the villains were just like, oh, look at me, big spooky villain.
It's almost like it's a really big DLC for Inquisition.
We've had scarier bosses, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I would probably rate it as a 6 as well. It's not quite mediocre enough to be like exactly half, but it's also not quite groundbreaking or amazing enough to be anything up to a 7 or anything above that, in my opinion. But so overall, it is rated at least in the upper half by all 3 of us. Now let's talk
big
about...
main overall.
I haven't had a bad time,
Yeah.
like, replaying it as many times as I did for romancing for this video.
Yeah. So, that's the next area. Romances and side content. How would you rate it 1 out of 10? And we'll start with Sassy this time.
Oh my god, the side quests, I fucking love them. 8. I love the side quests. So the side quests
And
are fun.
including the romance stuff.
For both?
Yeah, because that's still technically side content. Unless you think it's big enough to really split it out
No,
from...
I think, well,
It's enough to split up.
Okay.
yeah, I agree with that.
Okay,
Because
so side content
romances-
not including romances. It's an 8?
Yeah, side quests is an 8. Oh, there are some side quests that aren't like the craziest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they add life to the places that you are in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just helps you really tie in the world, and it's really nice to do. And you don't feel like they're long and drawn out. They feel like side quests. It's quick. You're already here. You can do it on the way to your main quest or wherever you're going on the map, and get it done.
Okay.
You don't have to go all the way to Timbuktu to finish a side quest. So yeah, I'll give it an 8. It was way better than the main story.
Okay. Ryan, where would you rate it?
So, see, weird thing is, it's like you have like actual side content, and then you have companion side content.
Well, that's why I was trying to include the romance
Yeah.
stuff, but y'all said separate that. So
well,
don't include... The companion side content will be
with
strictly
romance.
kept with romance.
Oh, okay. Well
'Cause
then,
all of them are
well, because like
romance.
how I feel. Well, yeah, but it's like
I know that
if
you can only romance one, but it is still tied to the romance.
Okay, well, because see, here's the thing. I loved all of the personal companion quests all the time. I thought they were all really fun.
Okay. So
I would say, as far as those the actual just being able to do those quests and the content of them, I would probably do like a 8 as well.
Okay, but that's companion stuff, not just side content excluding companion.
Complete and total like actual side content.
Yes.
Like
when we got to the romance options, I was gonna.
I don't know.
Part of the reason that I was trying to keep them together is because you only got to romance one, and then the others were side content that wasn't linked to a romance. But if you're going to separate the companions out for the romance to be separate from the side content, I feel like all the companion stuff needs to stay together, whether you're romancing one person or not. You know, because
Here's-
it's all linked to growing in their trust, gaining more of their friendship, and one of them is a romance. It's all the same content with slight changes based on, are you romancing this one or are you romancing that one?
Instead of saying romancing, I would say just rating the companions, including their romances, if we have romanced them. As in overall, because these are the people
that's-
you're questing on and with, and
That's what I'm trying to
doing
explain. The
banters.
companion stuff either stays all together or it's not all together. You can't just go, I'm going to separate just the romance part of the companions, but all the rest of the companions stay with the side content because I'm not romancing them. You can't do that. Companions need to either all be part of side content or be separated from side content as companion-specific content. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say 8 or 7. 7.
Seven for-
all overall side content.
Not
7.
including companions. 7.
Okay, not including companions. 6.
Okay. I'm just making sure because you and Sassy both are the ones who said separate the companions out.
The number has been given.
For specifically side content only, I do think it was better than main story for the most part overall. Not including companions. I had fun with each little storyline. They didn't feel like they were too far out of the way, and they gave decent rewards. But they didn't feel like they really impacted the story. But you are right. They made it feel like a more living world type scenario, like you said, Sassy. So I'll probably go with a 7. Now we can do the companions.
Woo!
Ryan, I think you already have an answer, so go ahead.
So
Companion only.
companion only. Companion only, I probably... See, overall, I really liked all of the companion quest stuff. I
Mhm.
really did.
Right.
I think I'd probably put that at like an 8.
Okay.
Romancing, different issue. But as far as the actual quests go, I really liked all of them. I loved the dragon hunts. I loved all of Emmeric's spooky ghost shit. Like, I just really liked all of them.
Okay.
what's the rating?
He said 8, but he said romancing was different. So are we separating romances out, or are we keeping all the
I
companion
think
stuff
the
together?
romance actual specific what you can do in the romance, because romance or not, their quests are the same.
That's why I'm trying to just say companion quests.
Okay, so just companion quests, 8.
Including romances.
Including romances, I think it's like a 4, because nothing you do affects the, like,
Other than Emmerich's.
other
And
than
Nev's.
Emmerich's. Like, the actual romances by themselves are all so static, and all of them have forced conflict at the end, and all of them... I think there's so many problems in there.
I would say that
that-
Emmerich's has the most understandable conflict that doesn't seem forced, from what I've heard and seen.
If Tosh wasn't forced to have the conflict with their mother, and their mother still died, made so much more sense for the
Yeah.
conflict at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I just
Tosh-
lost my mother. I don't want to lose you too.
Yeah, Tosh's would have made more sense if they hadn't tried to do double force conflict.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan.
No, you're fine.
I'm just trying to keep things more, like, it, together as groups and not splitting them apart as much. So meeting in the middle between 4 and 8, would you say it's maybe a 5 or a 6?
I'd say 5.
Okay, 5. Sassy for all side content, for all companion content, romance is included. What is your rating?
So, I really love the banter when you bring out your companions out into the world. Doesn't matter who you bring, it adds a dynamic with the party. And it also feels like, well, you just had this cutscene of this conversation, so then you take Harding and Nev out. Well, they're still continuing that conversation, but from their viewpoints to get a better understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Even with romancing, the party kind of like gigs you a rook and, your party member that you're romancing.
Yeah.
Their side quests, whether you're romancing them or not, they did, to a degree, the tone is better adjusted than others, but they did adjust the tones to go, oh, well, you're more a friend here. Oh, you're romancing them here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that more of the party didn't romance each other, because I could totally see some party members that weren't getting together could get together.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, with the mindset in mind of past Dragon Age companions, not the romances, because I'm gonna be honest, other Dragon Ages did the romancing better. But
Right,
overall,
but-
companions,
Okay.
compared to everybody else, the other Dragon Ages games, I would give Veilguard's companion list a 6.
Okay.
Only because they added more dimension to these companions.
Taking in what both of you have said, I think I'm also going to go with a 6, simply because some of the romances are really good and carry the game, and some of the romances are so bad that they're not even worth a playthrough.
Yep.
And taking that into account lowers the score a lot, but it raises back up, taking into account they did do some nice banter with bringing out companions based on romancing and whatnot, and just the companion side quests, almost all of them were just fun the whole time. So that levels it out to a near middle rating, slightly above average 6.
They're not my
Gameplay.
favorites, but
And I guess I'll go first on this one. I like the speed of it. I like the changes. I don't like the limitations. Because it's just so natural to compare this to previous Dragon Ages. The things that we lost right now to me feel so much more than the things that we gained that it lowers my score. I would have originally, when it first came out, given it a 9. Currently, I'm going to give it a 7.
generous.
Huh?
I said generous.
It's because I still really like the gameplay. I like the movement, I like the speed of it, I like the action of it and the visuals. I don't like everything that we lost. And I'm not doing halves, and I figured I'd round up. 7. Because it's still, despite missing so many things from the past, when I'm playing it, I'm having fun. Which of you would like to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
I
I like the story. The main story only more than the gameplay, only by a little bit. And the combat does help a lot, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
With this. But I'm giving it a 5. And here's why.
Is this going to be really long or is it going to be quick?
No, it's gonna be quick.
Okay, I'm
As
only
long as
asking
you don't
'cause-
interrupt me.
I'm only asking because we're almost at 2 hours. Go ahead.
I gave it a 5 because while the main story and the side quests and all of that was really entertaining, if you really look at it, the pacing is really quick. If you don't do any of the side quests and you do just all main quests, I bet you could probably finish this game in 20 hours. And
Yeah.
all
It's
the
short.
other Dragon Age's pacings were a lot nicer.
Yeah. I might drop mine down to a 6.
Mine's a 5.
Okay.
There's just too much. There's just too much that's weird or bad or that it weighs it down. It weighs down the good.
It's
for me.
not that it's a bad game. I mean, there are some parts that make it a not great game.
For me personally, because of what EA is and the absolute monstrosity amount of money they have.
It could have been
to
better,
do
and
things
especially the time of development that this spent in development hell.
Triple A, this should have been better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why I'm like, mine's
Yeah.
dropping down from a 7 to a 6.
Especially with Claire Obscure coming out. And as much as I
Yes.
hate Claire,
Oh my god. I have only one issue with Claire Obscure, and that's it, Simon.
yeah, like with the games that were coming out, this
Baldur's
game had-
Gate, Claire Obscure, and both of those are indie developers. Lies of P was also recent, and it's not, at a certain, it's better than you would expect it to be for such a small team compared to the giant team EA has and their money. I'm not saying don't buy this game. I'm saying if you're going to play this game, I do think that you can have fun with it if you focus more on certain aspects and aren't looking for Lucanus to be the best romance ever. And you buy it on sale. Buy it on sale.
It is a sale game.
It is not a full price game. It's a sale game.
I would say a more than 50% sale.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you're the most that you should spend on this is a 50% sale, and that's pushing it. Do not spend more.
I had to romance multiple people to feel like I got my money's worth.
Yeah. It did take multiple playthroughs, and each time you play through it, the bad writing gets worse.
It gets worse. Yeah, because the first time I played through this game, I was crying at the end. I was
You
like, oh my
absolutely
God,
loved. This was like
this
one of
is
your
so
new
amazing.
favorite games.
Yeah,
And
and
you
then
were like,
my
it's a
second
9 out of
playthrough-
10. It's almost perfect. And then, I remember your second playthrough.
I was like, oh no, I'm
Yeah.
starting to realize what people are saying.
We were very defensive of this game early on.
We
with
really
with
were.
the savagery that people were putting out. But the more we played it, the more we were like,
like,
they're
oh, no,
they're not
this doesn't
entirely
work.
wrong.
This doesn't work. This
Yeah.
doesn't work.
So
Overall, fun game.
fun game.
Fun.
Fun.
You will have fun playing it. That's the good thing. You will get entertainment out
Fun
of
for
it.
$20.
But yeah, not
Maybe
AAA
25.
prices.
Yeah. This is not what I would expect from a AAA game, given that 2 indie developers and 1 developer that I don't know if they're indie or not came out with games that just felt better written, better gameplay, better mechanics, less bugs and issues, and just all around better.
I have been more upset with some games winning awards,
Uh-huh.
where with this game, I would be totally okay if the only award it won was for voice acting.
Yeah.
Originally, we really wanted it to win the accessibility award, I remember
Yeah.
talking about
that
that.
too. Yeah, because
That
that's
too.
that's really nice.
That was-
Yeah, whenever it came out, I think it, compared to the other games, it should have won accessibility, but it lost to Prince of Persia as a side scroller. And
Which
it
is-
lost because Prince of Persia gave you a map where you could select an area and it would like give you a view of the area without being there in case you have aphantasia, which Sassy and I both have. But I just
I've played with games before without it. It's not groundbreaking. For me to
it's
do
really not groundbreaking that you get a picture of that location from the map. Like, woohoo, amazing. You can also just fast travel there and see it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As somebody with aphantasia, yeah, I didn't need that. I didn't think that was as groundbreaking. It's not like this one was super groundbreaking. I know there are other games that have done the customizable combat, but that plus several other things, like the top surgery scars, even though we don't know how well that fits for people who would want that, it gave options where options didn't exist in a lot of games at the time. And the combination and culmination of all of those together is what made me think it deserved at least that one award. And it didn't get it. Sad day.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I'd rate the game a 6. Overall, like everything together, it's a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Bam! Stamped on it. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not.
Yeah, sure. That works. That works for me.
Yeah, because if you buy it, you're still gonna have a
Fun.
really good time, even if you don't know
Yeah.
shit about Veilguard. You can ignore the story and have a good time.
Yeah, you can have a good time with the gameplay.
Yeah.
You won't have the problems that Sassy and I have of we played older Dragon Ages where we got more specialization features and more abilities. Like, you know, it would just be fun gameplay. So yeah, that wraps up the video. Thanks for watching. Sorry it ended up getting so long. We wanted to consolidate, but we have opinions and we like describing why. So I guess I might upload this more as a full VOD that just kind of is podcast style review. Maybe that'll be it. Anyways, bah. See you next time.
Bye.